the Solution Series, brought to you by DoubleRadius and hosted by yours truly, Jeff Holdenred. About 4 months ago, we introduced Positron as a new vendor of DoubleRadius, and the uptick of interest on that has been huge, so we wanted to kind of show you guys some more things. We had Jeff Clement on here. He told us a lot about the solution, but today we actually have a product on the table, so we want to kind of share and show, do a little show and tell like we did back in school. So real quick, you know, the Positron solution is where we're using the existing cable in buildings to provide broadband services at very high speeds. You know, I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, just rewire the building. Okay, I understand that, but time costs money, right? And they actually have created solutions that provide very high throughputs at great distances, and it's something that it's typically like a plug and play. You know, you hook it up to the system, you drop in the endpoints, and away you go. So just to give you an idea, when you're talking about Cat 3, right, and we say SISO, which is just a single twisted pair Cat 3, Positron can do 1,000 megs at 150 meters. Now, if you're running on 2-pair Cat 3, which is what we call MIMO, it's actually up to 250 meters. Now, they also have a solution that works over coax. And coax gives us a lot greater distances, and it's a little more cost effective once you put splitters involved when it comes to per port, which we're going to get into in a minute. But when you're talking about coax, RJ59 gives us a 305 meter range at 1,000 megs. RJ6, 762 meters, and if you have RG11 in a building, it's greater than 1,000 meters to be able to create gig connections, right? So that's pretty cool. So some of the products that they offer both indoor and outdoor solutions. They offer it in a Cat 3 solution and also a coax solution. So real quick, I'm going to showcase this one right here. This is your outdoor. So this is your GAM4MX, which is a Cat 3 solution. They also make this one in the coax too, so it is exactly the same both ways. But let me open this up real quick. It's pretty simple. All right. So inside here, you have your SFP cage. This is for your fiber coming into the building or bandwidth coming into the building. You have your management ports, your power up here, and then here you have your 110 punch blocks. This is for your SISO or MIMO Cat 3 connections to plug right into it, and away you go. Now the Cat 3 solution is port for port. So if you only have a 4-port like this one, you can only talk to 4 end customers, right? So that's kind of how it's sized out. Remember, they make this in a 4 and an 8 in both the Cat 3 solution and the coax solution. Now, let's go to the indoor piece, and you can see I probably go back. It has all your grommets and everything else. It comes with the mount and the power supply. Now, on their rack mount solution, which is this one right here, this is actually the coax solution. So this is the GAM12C right here. You have 12 F connectors here. And this can be actually split. You can use this up to 16 splitters per port. So you can see the growth of this is pretty huge when you think of a 1U system, 12 with 16 splitters. You know, that's a lot of end customers that this can support. Now it'll do 1.7 gig per port, which is huge, especially when you think about using existing cabling in the building. So you have your SFP cage. So this is your inbound bandwidth or fiber. You can also daisy chain these if you need to. You have your management port, power supply comes with the power cord, whole 9 yards, rack mount unit, pretty simple and easy. And yet those are F connectors, so all you're going to do is tie those directly into your splitter, and away you go to the end user. So I want to show a couple other pieces, and then we're going to get into like some of the kind of layouts of how this actually works, right? So now we also have, like, this is just one of their little end devices. Like, you know, we talk about the wireless world. It's almost like this is your AP and this is your CPE right here, but this is your end user device. You can see it has a coax port on it, so this would be for the coax solution. It comes with the power supply. Now it also has, you can see here, it has 2 gigabit Ethernet ports. And this particular model here actually does PoE out. Now, where is that a huge win for us? You know, we've basically been talking a lot about enterprise solutions, multi-dwelling, multi-tenant, affordable housing, student housing, apartment complexes. I mean, really the sky's the limit. Government buildings that have been around since before, you know, 95 when Cat 5 really became a big deal. So you take this device here with the PoE out, and you take this nice pretty wall mount. This is the Cambium Wi-Fi 6 wall plate, the XV2 22H. And now this has, you know, your PoE in, It also has PoE in at the bottom, has PoE out, and also your pass-through port. So you could basically run your GAM CPE in the room, gig out, right into a wall plate, which you might actually see this in some hotels and everything these days. But you run this right to this. Now you have Wi-Fi, you have extra Ethernet ports, win-win scenario, drop it in, and away you go. So real nice, neat little solution there. So how do these things kind of lay out? So in the slide here you're looking right now, what you're going to see is a layout for the coax solution, and they look exactly the same. The only difference is when you do the Cat3, like I said before, it's one port per one end user, where on the coax side it's one port per splitter up to a 16-way splitter, right? So you can see in the building here you have your rack mount unit at the bottom, and each one of these are being tied into coax splitters, and then they run to the end piece at the end. No cable runs, no nothing, away you go. Quick, simple, easy. Like I said before, 1.7 gig per port. That's a lot of bandwidth, right? And I'm sure we could use that, pump in, high-speed services to the end user, to the business, to the resident, however you see that fit. Now, another application I want to show is, what's changed over the years is coax in the air is owned by the cable company. But once it reaches the property, it is owned by the tenant, right? 9 times out of 10, it's owned by the tenant. So they have control over how that coax is used, how that cabling is used. So we're seeing a lot of interest in this when it comes to your RV parks, when it comes to your campgrounds, places where cables are already there, and you need to be able to backbone to the cabin, backbone to where the RV parks are coming in, and actually not, we know that these are usually high treat environments, so sometimes wireless is really tough to do point to points to get the bandwidth where you need to. Awesome solution, drop in, simple, easy, like I said, easy. We can't really do any better than that. So one of the things I also want to talk about is you notice that they have the SFP ports. Now this is a rumor we've heard, it has not been confirmed yet, but the rumor that we're hearing is that Positron is talking with some or one of the fiber providers today, like the manufacturers of the fiber gear, and they're actually working on a solution where you could put their SFP module into the head-end units, and then put their CPE at the end, and it'll be transparent, so you can actually manage it. It's going to look like it's fiber all the way across the whole thing, single pane of glass. Now you can take your fiber solutions that you're deploying today and manage it all the way through in a single pane of glass. So hopefully we'll be able to report more on that here in the near future, but that's the rumor we're hearing. So wanted to showcase this for you real quick. Like I said, we're getting a lot of questions. We're getting a lot of interest in these solutions, especially from the MSPs, the MDUs, the high rises, the hotels. Great fit in for this. Your historical areas of towns and cities, great answer for that also. Like I said, time is money. Save time, work smarter, not harder, and look at Positron today. Reach out to your sales rep, get your questions answered, get your prices. Like I said, you might be surprised, but these right here are between $100 and $200 a piece, depending on your features you want. If you want VoIP or POTS or PoE out, or you just want a basic just Ethernet port at the end. So reach out to your rep. Let us put you in touch with the right people. We'll get Positron on the phone to answer questions that we can't, and let's work to a smarter solution. This is Jeff Holdenred with DoubleRadius. This is the Solution Series. Hope you enjoyed our video. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.